Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Got some pretty serious news today. Everything from stuff going on in Russia, stuff going on at our own border, very serious things that the news media probably doesn't want you to know if you happen to watch the mainstream news. And then also some more stuff. I mean, it's more, but it's not a lot more. But we're going to talk about it when it regards to the power station attack that was over there in the Carolinas. I mean, they've been everywhere, and that's the point that we want to talk about. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So. Several things in the news to talk about that are very, very important that do affect your life, and I believe affect us in the preparedness world very much. So let's get into that here in just a minute. I want to mention just before we get started, for those of you that are still stocking up on food, and you probably should be. I mean, you probably should be as often as you can afford to. There is a company that I work with that, it may not be what everyone wants and what everyone needs, but for some of you, it is a good deal, and some of you, it just fits what you need, and that is My Patriot Supply. There's a link down in the description below that you can go to their site and see what they have. Right now, today only, they have a deal of the day where you can buy, it's a big box of powdered milk. I know, that's exciting, isn't it? But it's normally $35, and it's on sale for like $19.95 kind of thing. So you can find deals like that every day over there, and they have one of the best quality and best price per calorie. Most of these other companies that sell you 30-day and 90-day food supplies, the daily calorie allowance is like 1,300 calories, 1,500 calories a day, a lot less. With My Patriot Supply, it's a 2,000 calorie a day. Period. That's what it is. So even though you look at the dollars and you're like, oh, well, it's a little less here or something like that, look at how much food, actual food you're getting. And that's the big difference with My Patriot Supply. And there's a link in the description below. All right, let's get into this. I'll share my screen with you, and we are going to start off in Russia. I don't know how many of you heard that, Russia's been having a lot of strange fires lately. They had the drone attacks that apparently Ukraine masterfully, got past their air defense system and landed some drones on top of their strategic nuclear bombers. I really don't know how that happened. But there's also been a lot of just strange fires, and I haven't seen any conclusive proof that this has to do with us or NATO or anything like that. But it's starting to look pretty fishy. Just a couple of days ago, a large shopping mall caught fire, and now another shopping mall mysteriously catches fire. We've actually got some video. This is the first one from a few days ago. Let's watch a little bit of that. Let me turn the volume down a little bit. But it actually explodes here. And the thing is here, watch it here. There we go. Look at that. Yeah. It's just an accidental fire. And then the one that today, this is the one, whoops, let's turn that one off. The one from today, there's video of that one too. Amazing. Now there's so much video of this stuff. So these are, that first one, I don't know about this one, but that first one is supposed to be one of the largest shopping malls in Moscow. And then this one doesn't look to be quite as big, but still, there's been all kinds of reports of other buildings catching fire. If Russia can in any way blame America or NATO on this, I told someone the other day, I said, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not saying Putin's a good guy. I'm not saying Putin and Russia are the good guys. I'm not saying, I don't think any side's the good guys. But I'll tell you this, just from a military perspective, a strategic perspective and everything, I am actually quite shocked at how patient Putin has been, because while certainly he started this, in some ways, the escalation has been come as a retaliatory escalation because of what has been done, and the fact that, well, the odds are really stacked against him. And if this kind of stuff continues in Russia, I can't believe that they're not going to do any kind of retaliatory attacks. Speaking of Europe, while we're still over there, we talked about the medicine supply shortage here in the United States. Well, it's not just the U.S. Europe, the United Kingdom, France says down here, pharmacies across UK and France are running out of antibiotics. What is going on? I mean, they all say it's because of this increase of, everybody getting sick, this triple-demic thing, which is weird because most of the things in that triple-demic you don't use antibiotics for, okay? I mean, at least you shouldn't. You don't use an antibiotic for flu, you use an antiviral. But I suspect that there's more going on here. I don't think that this is just, poor supply chain, because from all the reports we've been hearing, the supply chain has been, at least the distribution, has been better recently than it has been in the last, 12 to 18 months. There's just I can't put my finger on it, folks, but there's just something inside of me saying that this is all being orchestrated. I could be wrong. I just may be wearing my tinfoil hat too tight. But when you start seeing countries all over running out of medicines at the same time that cases are increasing, I don't know. I mean, you can take it with a grain of salt. You can laugh at me. That's fine. It just sounds strange to me. Why all of a sudden? When we had ships in China backed up, when we had ships in the United States at our ports backed up, and we had, China shut down for a extended period of time, their factories. We've had, the peak of the health crisis. We weren't having, supposedly, and this is what the reports are saying, it wasn't as bad then as it is now when it comes to supplies of medicines, in coordination with all these various illnesses that are spreading. So I don't know. I just kind of think that it's coordinated. Anyways, this is one of the big things that we need to talk about, the border issues. So are you familiar with Title 42? I'm not going to go into it because I'm going to assume that most of you know what Title 42 is. Maybe you don't. If you don't, look it up. Do a search engine. You'll find out pretty quickly. Basically, it was a Trump-era thing put on the border because of the health crisis, that we're not going to be accepting people across the border because of the health crisis. That was a way of him to try to slow down the border crossings and stuff. I mean, of course, they're still happening, but it does seem to hamper some of it. Well, it was supposed to end, and then the Biden administration tried to extend it, and so on and so forth, but it's gone through the courts, and basically, if nothing else changes, it's set to go away, I believe, in 9 days, is what, 8, 9 days, something like that, sometime between now and the end of the month for certain. Anyways, there has been a massive uptick in border crossings already. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands a day, more than normal, all over the border. And we're not even to that point of the Title 42 going away, which means once Title 42 goes away, according to the Biden administration, you just got to put your little tiptoe over the border and, oh, okay, you're here. It doesn't matter if you're sick or not. It doesn't matter. You're here. And so even the Homeland Security and the Border Patrol and everyone's been warning, saying that, hey, that the amount of crossings is going to increase substantially. Like, it's going to skyrocket overnight. And we've already been seeing record high border crossings over the last 18 months, okay? Millions and millions and millions. Some estimates, possibly when you add in the ones that we catch, the ones that we know about, and then the ones that we probably don't know about, numbers could be anywhere between, 10 to 20 million people in the last couple of years that's crossed the border. So anyways, this weekend, it's really been kicking off. This is a Fox News reporter. This video here, I'll go ahead and play it, I guess. You can hear it, but there's not really anything to hear. Anyways, this is in El Paso. This video is talking about Friday and Saturday alone with 2,600 crossings in 24 hours just in this one location. That's not how many others crossed throughout the entire border. The border is quite large, right? So in this one location in El Paso, 2,600 people crossed Friday and Saturday, and it just kept getting worse. Here's another video. Let's go back here. I keep forgetting to turn it off. Let's go to this next one. This is from Sunday. So this is the same Fox News reporter. So the first one I just showed you, that was 2,600 crossed in that one location Friday and Saturday. An estimated over 1,000 people crossed in that same location on Sunday. And in El Paso alone at this border crossing, that Border Patrol has now, as of the posting of this Twitter report here, now over 5,000 in custody and has released hundreds into the city because they are overwhelmed. Okay, here's some of the video here. You can see they're just walking right across the the river. I mean, if anyone's ever been down there, it's easy to walk across there, especially this time of the year. They're just walking across, and there's a spot. I don't know if we'll get to it here in this video. I could actually blow this video up, zoom it in. Let's see. There we go. Now you can see. Here it is. See, there's Border Patrol right there. They're already on the U.S. side, and they're just, all right. There's this idea of how we've seen in movies. We've all seen it in movies, right? Where, there's this fight. They got to be sneaky. They got to sneak across, and then they got to hurry and get to cover, because the cops are going to find them, the Border Patrol. Nope, they don't have to. Look at this. Mexico side, United States side. They just walk across. No one's trying to stop them. There's nothing to prevent them, and they're just walking right up and saying, "Hey, I'm declaring that I need to, seek asylum, or I need your welfare, or I'm about to ready to have a baby," and nothing stops them, folks. We are being invaded. I know every time I talk about this, I get a lot of so-called conservatives and so-called Christians saying I'm a horrible, evil person because I feel this way. I do not have any ill feeling about any of these people, none at all. And I think that immigration is actually a good thing. I think it is a good thing when it's done legally, folks. Legally. There are countless people that I know and that I've heard of that are immigrants, and they feel the same way because they did it legally, and now these people just come through. And this is an invasion, because how many of these people do we know could be terrorists, could be foreign actors, could be part of some foreign agency, military, infiltration, terrorist group? We don't know. Because we're just letting them come through. How many diseases that have been cured in the United States for decades that no one has any immunity for anymore are being brought in. I'll probably get in trouble for this with YouTube because they don't like me playing this, but this is an actual Fox News report on those videos that I just showed you. And I just want to play just a quick little snippet. Sometimes if I play just a few seconds, they don't care. And so this reporter, the one that I just showed you on Twitter that posted those, this is him giving his report on Fox News. And what he's saying in this little snippet, I'm giving you a lead up, is they went over into the Mexico side, and they watched that the Mexican government were escorting dozens of these school buses packed with immigrants, and they're literally pulling them right up there to the border, where with the video we just showed, where there's the American side and the Mexico side, and they literally just walk right down through that little, we call them creeks around here, but it's a river in Texas. Sorry, Texans. Anyways, they're literally driving these buses escorted by police right up to the border. Listen to this just for a quick second here, a few seconds.
Border Patrol is completely overwhelmed. So where did all these migrants come from? Take a look at this video we shot in Ciudad Juarez yesterday. These buses of migrants, about 20 of them, received a Mexican police escort to the border. You can see in this video Mexican police guiding about 20 of these migrant buses, all of them full of migrants, into Ciudad Juarez, the Mexican city across from El Paso, where they were dropped off at NGOs and shelters. The migrants didn't stay at those shelters. They then walked down to the river and crossed illegally into El Paso en masse. And it's happened.
Do you hear that? They escorted them, the police, right up to the border. They got out. They didn't even stay in the shelters or nothing. They just walked out of the buses and walked right across the river into the U.S. side. Does anyone think that that's okay? That's wrong? That's strange? Here we are being invaded by, and they're from all over. The video clip here, it goes on and it shows that these people are not just from Mexico. That they're standing in line, and they have them in groups of different countries that they're from, and it's covering all of Latin America and South America and even other countries in other continents. And so this isn't just Mexico. These people, yes, many of them are poor, many of them are workers, many of them are just needing help, but there are others in there, and that's the big problem. I mean, it's all a big problem. It's all a big problem because we're dealing with shortages and inflation. I mean, we were just talking about right here medicine shortage, okay? We have a drug shortage. We have American citizens, if you dig into these articles, that they're not able to give their children any medicine because there's shortages. They're struggling. They're driving around for hours, spending half a day, all the day, trying to go to different places, trying to find medicine for their children, at the same time that we're letting millions and millions and millions of people come across and consuming more of America's stuff. And I know that there's going to be people in the comments that's going to call me all kinds of horrible things. Fine, do it. At this point, I don't care. I don't care because this is wrong. No nation can consider herself a sovereign, strong nation while we have no borders, while we have no control over what is our borders. It's absolutely absurd, and I'm running out of time, taking too long, because I want to get to this very last bit here. It's totally different, but we're talking about the power plants. Sorry about the mic smacking. We're talking about the power plants, and in this article, I know we're making a rapid shift of gears. I wanted to get into this. So, according to the report from Hedge, they've been digging into this, and as of yet, most of these power plant attacks that's happened, no one knows who did them, right? During the first 8 months of this year, 2022, there were a total of 106 attacks on the electric grid in the United States. 106 attacks. Now, we know about all these little ones and the one that knocked out power the other day to 45,000, but 106 attacks on the electric grid. This represents the highest number ever recorded in a single year. Now, some of these probably are just, stupid high school kids out having fun. Some of these are probably the local drunks that's just, they're just drunk, or they're mental, or they're just whatever. But you're not going to make me believe that with the things that's going on, that every one of these are just some local coincidence of some local, menace, that they're not some kind of coordinated, like they're testing the fence, okay? They're going around the security fence and they're testing it and seeing how weak it is so that they can then coordinate an attack. I don't know. They have not been able to get to the bottom of this mystery. It's so strange. It is so strange that with all these high-paid law enforcement, they can't figure this one out. Nobody is trying to claim that the strings of attacks have been witnessing is accidental. So no one is saying that these are accidental. These are actual attacks. The authorities have seemed to rule out they're trying to rule things out, but when in doubt, blame the right wing, which is what we saw down there in North Carolina, that there was there was this LGBTQ thing going on, and they were trying to knock. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. Local law enforcement has said there's no evidence of that whatsoever. And the thing is just 2 days prior to that, there was another attack up in Portland. Okay, so was it the same right wing people doing that up in Portland? These have been happening in Florida, all over the place. So There's no evidence that it was right-wing fanatics, okay? The point is that, as I've said so many times before on this channel, our electric grid is extremely fragile. It's extremely vulnerable. And you need to be doing everything you can to make sure that you're not that dependent on it. I mean, most people are right now, but if it went dark right now, how well would you survive, okay? How can you make it? And you need to come up with whatever plan it is, whether it's saying, well, I'll just live like it's the 1700s, and many of you, that's your plan, or doing what you can to have solar or generator or whatever it is, because they've already warned us 25% of the American customers, electric customers, are going to have to deal with blackouts this winter. And then now we have this, and we're on the verge of a World War III. I'm telling you, grid failure is a very real thing, and it's a very real thing to prepare for, folks. And we not enough people, I don't think, are really thinking about that. And so you should be. You should be with all your preps. I mean, we're being invaded at the border. We have shortages left and right. Our currency is about to collapse because they're bringing in a digital currency. You know, we saw yesterday $80 trillion more debt than all the U.S. currency combined is basically kind of missing. It's global. It's not just the United States. It's global. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's misplaced. $80 trillion. You know, this kind of stuff, we can't keep this stuff happening and then expect that life's just going to keep going on as normal, that everything's going to just keep functioning as normal. Things aren't functioning as normal anymore, folks. They haven't been functioning as normal for a long time. We've just gotten more and more adapt to it. We've adapted to the dysfunctional system that we are left with. But at some point, this dysfunctional system is going to collapse. It's going to just come crashing down. And that's why we have to prepare. We have to get ready for that moment, because while it's dysfunctional now, it still allows us some little bit of normalcy in our lives. But at some point, some part or all is just not going to be functioning anymore, and we need to be ready for that. That's why you need to be getting your houses in order. Preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, folks. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.